Looks like AGL Jiren might be next, and with him comes over 200 Dragon Stones. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have a surprise announcement on Global Dokkan, and that is the possibility of AGL Jiren dropping here sometime within the next week and bringing with him a whole bunch of recovery stones for those of you who dipped into the Heroes banner. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what we can expect to come within the next week or two and what we can expect to pocket in terms of stones. So real quick, before we hop in and take a look at what's coming, let us know what your current stone count is. This is our monthly stone check. What do you got after your hero summons if you dipped into it? Or if you didn't, what are you left over by skipping it? Let us know in the comments, and let's go ahead and hop on in. So thanks to the in-game news, we have the announcement of a bunch of upcoming stuff on Global. Now, none of this was announced on JP other than the burst mode and I think the ESBR and a new Infinite Dragon Ball history. So, you know, to be, this pretty much guarantees that something extra is coming on Global. So if we take a look here, right, we've got the next story mode chapter. This is going to introduce the awakening for the Fizz free-to-play Frieza, which will awaken into a Frieza and Cooler. We will also be getting new ESBR, Infinite Dragon Ball history. I believe it's the Warriors of the Universe 11. We're getting the next stages of the God of Destruction event, the God Trunks burst mode, and the Warriors of Universe 6 awakening. So this to me screams that we are taking a dive into the latter half of the UI celebration and preparing for AGL Jiren. So let's go ahead and let's start counting up these stones that we should be expecting from this celebration. Now, I will note, all right, number one, regardless of whether Jiren comes or not, I do believe the stone count is still accurate. This is still probably what we're going to expect to see with some minor variation. There is a chance that they save Jiren for when the Tanabata banner drops in Christmas time, right? The UI Goku and Beast Gohan and Broly banner. There's a chance they save him for then, but it would be kind of odd to drop all this content and not drop the banner to go with it. So let's just assume for this video that they are going to drop it. So let's go ahead, let's jump on in. So starting off with login stones, we can safely assume that there is going to be login bonuses for this, even though it's not mentioned here, simply because the logins are ending for the previous Slug celebration along with Slug's banner and everything else associated with him. So from now until the end of the month, there's about 11 stones for login, and including login and daily missions, it's another 11 stones, right? So 22 stones for logging in every day and completing your daily missions. 4 extra stones, right, for doing it on the weekend. There's only one weekend that time, so we're only going to count those extra 4 stones. As well, while not mentioned here, of course, there will be missions associated with whatever this mini campaign is. Typically, they run anywhere from 10 to 15 stones, but we're going to err on the side of the 15 stone marker here, and that brings us up to 41 dragon stones already, and this is just for showing up and doing the basic stuff in the game. Now let's get into the events that we know. So we have the next story mode chapters, 4 stages being added, 3 stones apiece, right? So that means 12 dragon stones from the new quest mode area. So that brings us to 53. Now, the last couple of times they have done new quest modes, we have had missions associated with them, and those missions range anywhere from, you know, 10, 15 to 20 dragon stones. For this one, we're going to go ahead and do 20 since there is awakenings, and the last time we had an awakening, it did err on the higher side. So we're going to go with 20 here. So that brings us to 73. Next, of course, we have the Giant 8 Power Extreme Super Battle Road, so 8 stones there, bringing us to 81. We also have the next Infinite Dragon Ball history, right? We just got the one for the Dragon Ball Heroes, so now we're going to get the Universe 11. And the fact that we are getting the Universe 11 Infinite Dragon Ball history, to me, is kind of what screams that, hey, yeah, Jiren is coming. But again, that remains to be seen. But there's another 35 stones there, so 116 from that. We are also getting the Gods of Destruction, all of the final stages, which makes sense. These were added at the second half of the celebration when Jiren dropped. And so it kind of makes sense that this is coming then. And all this is just simply like sort of a little mini boss rush of the previous Gods of Destruction. And then, of course, having their attack and defenses dialed up a notch. And for completing these 3 stages, we get an extra 15 stones and the EZA for the Zeno support memory. So very nice there. Moving on, we have the God Trunks burst mode. This was announced on both versions. So that's 20 stones right there. 151 there. Added on to that, we have another 7 for the Universe 6 story mode and those awakenings. Most of you guys have probably gotten a lot of the stuff done for this, like the leveling up the super attacks and whatnot, but there are new missions associated with awakening them and leveling them up. So if you had done that already, you'll get these free ones, and then you just have to use a couple of the characters on various events and you'll get some more. And that total is 7 Dragon Stones, bringing us to 158. So just that alone, this is just what we know, what we can see. 158 Dragon Stones within the next week. Nice little set of recovery stones, right? So let's say that Jiren does drop. That's 3 multis on Jiren's banner. But here's the thing. If Jiren does drop, I have a feeling they're going to drop a lot more than just this. In fact, there are 2 major things that are still missing from the celebration that are not announced here. And that is the Reps of Universe 7 Blue Zone, the Supreme Magnificent Battle. They did not announce the last 2 stages here, and it could be they're saving that for the in-game news, where they'll announce it a little bit later. But it does seem odd that they don't specifically announce it here. If this does come, right, there are 20 stones associated for completing the last 2 stages and completion of the various missions, which I believe are Universe 7 and Accelerated Battle. So if we include that, that actually brings our total up to 178. So it'll be nice if we get this. We'll finally get the Goku Frieza fight and people can stop complaining. So hopefully that does happen. Now, there is one last thing that isn't mentioned here, but if we check the JP news, right, we still haven't gotten on global this set of sub EZAs, which is actually an EZA battle for the Tech 18 and 17, the Ent Piccolo, and the AGL Fit Buu. This is a 30 stone stage, which means if we do get it, that's 33 stones for the missions. And that actually brings our total up over to 211 Dragon Stones. So, assuming Jiren comes, we can expect about 211 Dragon Stones. Now, it's possible we could get the EZAs and not the last stages of the Supreme Magnificent Battle, and they could actually save this for when UI drops. But if Jiren is dropping now, I could definitely see them dropping this, since Jiren was tailor-made for this fight, right? He's kind of the counter to the fight. So I could definitely see them, dropping this if Jiren does drop. Now, if Jiren doesn't drop, well, guess what? We're still getting about 150 to 180 stones, because I actually think it's more likely that we will be getting these sub-EZAs, because they are long overdue. And I mean, there's nothing else to really put here, right? You're not going to give us a new unit. Give us some new units to play with via EZAs, right? So I could definitely see them doing that. But either way, very, very good amount of stones for such a short period of time. Nice little set of recovery stones to bank back on after some of you guys may have dipped into the Heroes celebration. So guys, that is it for the video. That is how many stones you can expect to drop here within the next week. Some contingent on whether or not Jiren himself does drop. We don't know for sure, and we probably won't know until the data download after the maintenance in a few days. But Either way, still a good amount of stones. So guys, if you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know. Do you think Jiren is coming? I think it's a pretty high likelihood. I don't really see another place to put him unless they really want to wait till right when the Christmas banner drops. I wouldn't blame them, but that's already too many banners in quick succession, especially since we will be getting the Part 2 Carnival LR banner around the same time as well. So I think it's very likely he could be dropping here in the next week. But let us know if you think that. And you know what? Like I said in the beginning, stone check, guys. How many stones are you sitting on? If you have been saving, what do you got, and how much are you going to have at the end of this little mini celebration? If you dipped into heroes, how much is this going to give you? How much do you have left? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.